Flow Wisdom presents 13 Steps to Bloody Good Wealth by Ashwin Sanghi and Sunil Dalal. Book Summary.
13 Steps to Bloody Good Wealth. Overview. The only way to become wealthy is by being born wealthy. Right? Wrong. In this book, best-selling author Ashwin Sanghi and co-author Sunil Dalal explore how one can become wealthy even if one is not blessed with the proverbial silver spoon. Taking a radically fresh view of wealth, they show that the journey to becoming wealthy is difficult, but not impossible. With some thought and work, wealth is well within anyone's reach. The steps presented in 13 Steps to Bloody Good Wealth are easily implemented and do not require anything more than your attention and belief. Through fascinating examples, illuminating stories, personal experiences, and common sense ideas, the authors tear away the halo and secrecy that surrounds wealth and how one can earn it. It has been shown that most high net worth individuals around the world have created rather than inherited wealth. Define what wealth means to you. Step 1. When we look back in time, we find that the concept of wealth changes every century. 10,000 years ago, wealth could have been a sharp spear or axe. 8,000 years ago, it could have been a basket of fish. Today, for many, it's the amount of money they possess. Let's list why we need the money for. Basic needs. The trinity of food, clothing, and shelter forms the non-negotiable part of your wealth. Higher needs. These are the aspirational needs: exotic vacations, a second home, luxurious cars. Financial independence. When you have enough money to sustain your living without worrying about making more money. Retirement. Are you wealthy? It's not possible to have a common definition of wealth for two individuals. For some, wealth could mean their material wealth, their accumulated money, while for others, it could be their experience or knowledge. Think about what being wealthy means to you. Only once you know what it means for you will you be in a position to work towards it. Happiness lies not in the mere possession of money. It lies in the joy of achievement, in the thrill of creative effort. Theodore Roosevelt, make a plan. Step 2. There are people who have money, and then there are people who are rich. Coco Channel, find what you love. Uncovering your goals in life is the biggest favor you could do to yourself. Once you know what wealth means to you, make a plan to achieve that goal. Think of your plans as an optimal GPS route taking you from one place to another. If there are any problems or roadblocks, take an alternative route. Be firm in your convictions and keep the end in mind. Don't get stuck in the traffic. Assess the situation. Net worth equals value of everything you own, your assets. Value of everything you owe, your liabilities. You can calculate your net worth by using this formula. Average net worth equals age asterisk pre-tax annual household income /10. Obviously, no single formula is always accurate. As our requirements keep evolving, it's good to think and split the goals into different categories. Short-term goals. Achievable within 1 or 2 years. Medium-term goals. Achievable within 2 to 5 years. Long-term goals. Anything that takes more than 5 years. Beat inflation. Step 3. Inflation is taxation without legislation. Milton Friedman. When you talk about the good old days when the prices of everything were so low, that's when you were talking about inflation. Inflation is a major wealth destroyer. It's always eating away the actual value of your money. Besides having a bearing on the daily price of commodities, inflation affects the interest rates paid on savings and mortgages. Because of the rising prices, the actual value of your money is getting diluted constantly. There are two things you have to know at this stage. Growth is inflation. If your wealth is growing, inflation is cutting your returns. Thus, you need to invest in those asset classes that beat inflation over extended periods of time. One such example is equity. Real vs nominal returns. Let's consider that you invested $100 in 2005, which has been giving you a return of 10% per year. By 2015, your investment would have become $260. That's the nominal return on your initial investment. Now let's say you paid 30% in taxes and the average inflation was around 5% per year. When you deduct these from the nominal return, you get the real return on your investment. The effect of inflation and taxes means that the real returns are far lower than the nominal returns. Plan your expenses. Step 4. Some people think that by spending less they will have more wealth. Others think earning more is the way to get wealthy. But if you are earning more and spending more, you will end up in the same situation. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epictetus. You must gain control over your money, or the lack of it will forever control you. There are some simple ways to control your money. Watch your bank account. It's better to keep your money in your bank account than spending it on a spontaneous splurge. Start the sinking fund. Open a separate savings account to put money away for a big future purchase. Bonuses are for saving. Save and invest the bonuses, and raises to treat yourself better in the future. Budget all expenses. Keep a track of all your expenses and categorize them. Harness the power of technology to set a pre-budget on your expenses. The lie caching model. The famous Hong Kong-based billionaire has a simple allocation model for budgeting. I would like to live as a poor man with lots of money. Pablo Picasso. Create additional income stream. Step 5. With today's volatile economy, there's a high degree of uncertainty in the corporate landscape. Just because you are employed doesn't mean that you cannot have something else that you do in your spare time. To bolster your financial security, you should work towards creating multiple sources of income. An additional income stream will accelerate your savings and investment plan. Oftentimes, such side hustles could lead you to your entrepreneurial journey. Mr. Karsanbhai Patel worked as a lab technician after completing his BSc in chemistry. In his spare time, he worked to create a composition for detergent powder. He was able to sell his homemade detergent in the neighboring areas at a much cheaper rate than the major detergent companies. Within 3 years, he left his job to set up a small workshop. Today, his company, Nirma, employs more than 15,000 employees and is worth $5 billion. Harness the power of compounding. Step 6. Money is a great servant but a bad master. Francis Bacon. It does not matter how much money you earn. It is how much you put it to work. It is only when you couple saving along with investing that the power of compounding works for you. You have 2 choices. Either work for money or have your money work for you. Your money can work round the clock to multiply or deplete itself. It is up to you how you put it to the best use. Use your money to make more money by earning interest or dividends or capital gains. Build assets, not expenses. Step 7. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money from your pocket. The philosophy of rich and poor is this. The rich invest their money and spend what is left. The poor spend their money and invest what is left. Rich people acquire assets. The poor and the middle class acquire liabilities which they think are assets. In the world of finance, assets include cash, savings in banks, real estate, jewelry, artwork, electronics, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, insurance policies, metals like gold, silver, etc. If you were tempted to buy Apple's latest iPhone while already using a decent phone, think again. It's not going to increase your net worth, rather investing in Apple stock could. If you are buying a house to live in, it's not an asset. You'll have to spend money on repairs, maintenance, and taxes. But if you plan to sell it or lease it out, it will create a source of steady income for you. Similarly, buying a car doesn't qualify as an asset. But if you sign up to provide rides for services like Uber, it can start to generate some cash for you. The salary you earn is your active income. But you should try to create assets which have the potential to generate passive income for you. That is true wealth. Make the wealth trinity your friend. Step 8. In the world of finance, there exists a trinity of risk, return, and time. Without the understanding of these 3, it is very difficult to gather wealth. Risk. It is the degree of uncertainty in an expected financial outcome. Risk tolerance of every individual is different. It depends on your income, lifestyle, goals, and your aspirations. Expectation of greater return also increases the associated risk. Exposing yourself to a high degree of risk that you don't understand can make your losses spiral out of control. Smart investing is more about knowing risks than returns. There are many unique ways to measure risk. Some of them are: 1. Standard deviation. Used to gauge the expected volatility. If an instrument has an average return of 10% annually with a standard deviation of 3%, then the return could vary between 7% to 13%. 2. Beta. It is the systematic risk of an investment in comparison to the market as a whole. If beta is less than 1, it means the instrument is less volatile than the market. If beta is greater than 1, that instrument is considered to be more volatile than the market. 3. Alpha. It is the measure of performance on a risk-adjusted basis. If the market generates a return of 12% annually and your investment returns 15%, the extra 3% is the alpha. Return. There are many ways to define return. Absolute return. If your investment of $100 becomes $120 within 6 months, your absolute return is 20%. Annualized return. Absolute return over a 12-month period. In the above example, annualized return is 40%. Compounded annual growth rate, CAGR, rate of return required for an investment to grow from its beginning amount to its final amount, assuming profits are reinvested over the period of time. Extended internal rate of return, XIRR. Used to calculate returns when there are multiple investments at different points in time, and the duration of investment is more than 1 year. Never get misled by a high absolute return. It doesn't mean that the annualized returns are high either. Time. Building wealth is a marathon, not a sprint. The longer you hold a fundamentally good investment, the lower the probability of a negative return. Divide your investment time horizons into buckets. Short term, less than 2 years. Medium term, between 3 to 5 years. Long term, more than 5 years. Time in the market is much more important than timing the market. Have an asset allocation strategy. Step 9. There are many ways to invest: equities, fixed income, real estate, metals, mutual funds. Asset allocation means putting your money to work in the best place in a well-thought mix. Your asset allocation should be a mix of uncorrelated investments at a level of risk you are comfortable with. These points might help you in your asset allocation. Determine your time horizon. If your time horizon is long-term, your portfolio can have 80 to 90% in equity and 10 to 20% in fixed income. If the time horizon is short-term, a balanced portfolio with 50% equity and 50% fixed income are advisable. Determine your allocation. Classic rule of thumb. Percentage of equity in your portfolio equals 100, your age. Understand your risk appetite. Gains in equity are higher, but the losses in fixed income are smaller. Know yourself. Understanding the decisions you make and why you make those decisions is critical in asset allocation. Ask the right questions. Which asset class, not which product. You can diversify your risks by allocating your investments to broader asset classes. Know why you own it. Make yourself aware about the investment you are about to make. Consider time vs. product. Even the right product can give disheartening results when the time is wrong. And the wrong product at the right time could give amazing results. Ask yourself, should I try to time the markets? Warren Buffett said, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and be greedy when others are fearful." Regularly rebalance and review. Periodically rebalance your portfolio to maintain your original asset allocation. Sell high, buy low. Understanding asset classes. Step 10. Liquid. Can be converted to money almost immediately. Publicly listed equities. Mutual funds, equity mutual funds, debt mutual funds, hybrid mutual funds, exchange-traded funds, fund of funds, other equity investment vehicles, portfolio management schemes, POS, alternative investment funds, AIF, fixed income schemes, corporate bonds, government bonds, fixed deposits, illiquid, not good when you need the money immediately, real estate, alternative investments, art/antiques, gold, private equity, venture capital, hedge funds, commodities, insurance, publicly listed equities, most commonly referred to as shares or stocks. When you buy stocks, you are actually buying a small piece of a company. You become one of the co-owners of that company. Mutual funds. Mutual funds pool the money of many investors and construct a portfolio of stocks, bonds, and other instruments. Pros: professionally managed, automatic diversification, dollar cost averaging, liquidity, transparency. Cons: expense ratio, false diversification with multiple mutual funds. When investing through mutual funds, look at the fund's past performance, fund manager's track record, expense ratio, pace of appreciation of the NAV over time. Other equity investment vehicles. PMS and AIF are specialized portfolios run by portfolio managers, customized for each individual investor. They are preferred by institutions and high net worth individuals. Fixed income schemes. Fixed income is income earned from an investment at a standard rate of return. Bonds are like a loan. When you invest in bonds, you are lending money to the corporate or government. In return for this loan, you are given an interest for the term of the bond. Knowledge, focus, patience, review. Step 11. These qualities would enable you to navigate the world of wealth building. Educate yourself as a continuous process. Build your personal knowledge, read books, meet other investors, and visit online resources. Cut out the noise and focus on your plan. In this information age, it's difficult to know what to absorb, whom to trust, and where to look. Don't believe everything you hear. Always authenticate the information. Appreciate the value of time and patience. Start early and have a long-term horizon to reap the benefits of compounding. Constantly track and review. If you cannot measure it, you cannot control it. Try to review your portfolio periodically to identify unnatural behavior and take actions to protect yourself from impending financial disasters. Leverage good debt. Step 12. Debt is simply borrowing money to spend on things we cannot otherwise afford to buy on our current income streams. It is expensive as it comes with a high interest rate. However, if utilized correctly, it could be good. Debt raised for investing in property, business, or higher education is generally good debt. Debt for mindless consumption like buying an expensive gadget, an exotic vacation, or a lavish lifestyle is bad debt. But even good debt can turn bad if not used wisely. Be mindful of your repayments, interest rates, and hidden clauses like repayment penalties and lock-ins. Debt costs money. Never use more than 36% of your pre-tax income towards servicing debts. Tax saved is income earned. Step 13. Tax planning is as important to wealth creation as savings and investment planning. Saving taxes can happen by way of exemptions or deductions. It is in your interest to know all the exemptions and deductions that are applicable to you. Try to save as much tax as possible in a legal way.
This was released from For the Sake of Education by Flow Wisdom. If the content was helpful, make sure to subscribe.